today is the day that we're doing my dash cam. I know this is like one of my most requested videos lately. I'm sorry it took so long, this little thing. So anyway, things you need, dash cam. So I got the 650 dual channel, it's a Blackvue. I actually bought the 16 gig model because it was on sale and just went ahead and bought the 128 gig micro SD card. And that's actually what I'm gonna put in this because this will record a ton of video. It was actually cheaper to do it that way than just buy the straight up 128. I don't know why, but it was. And then the key to everything is this power cable, which I'll link in the description below. So this is the 12-inch 4-pin fan power. It's for like PCs and crap. But anyway, your car has that, and this is the one we need. So we're actually just gonna cut this and attach the wires. Oh, and we also need one other thing. So when we do attach the wires, you're gonna want to solder them, heat shrink them, really make sure they're attached because you don't want them coming undone. And electrical tape can be used, but you also have to remember it's gonna get pretty hot up there from the sun, and electric tape can fail because the heat can cause the adhesion to loosen up a little bit, so you just need to be careful. I wouldn't attach it with just electrical tape. So we're gonna go ahead and use this guy. That's pretty much the parts, but I'll show you the part we already did do. So when we did this applique, we took all these panels off, which you don't have to do. I'll go into that in just a second, but I took all these off and that really helped. So I actually ran the rear applique wires through this side, and I fished my rear dash cam wire through this side. You want to be careful with this side because it has a lot of your antennas, so just be careful. But I did it on my last Tesla and it worked out fine, so don't let people tell you you shouldn't, because you can and it works just fine. Then I actually ran it all the way up here on the inside, out in one of the holes that was like right here, and then back here, and then this is the wire, and actually it's just tied up right here. I didn't put on that little back trim piece yet because I wanted to make sure everything was centered and didn't want to do that until I got it all hooked up. But that's how I wired the back. And so if you're curious on how to get this wire through any of these tight gaps, I would suggest watching my video on the rear applique because I went into it in detail. But real quick, I'll go ahead and show you. I use this. It's basically like 1/4-inch tube, and this 1/4-inch tube fits in right like that, and then I taped it together with electrical tape to pull it through, and that helped protect this connector and everything, and this, it really worked out well. So after I did fish that through, actually on the rear passenger side, ooh, I did not crash into a bridge and I did not watch it burn. Yikes. Okay, so I actually took these off, ran it back up through here, all the way up here, and actually right here I stashed it for safekeeping until I could run it all the way up. So I choose to run it all the way on the top like this rather than along the weather seal. So along the weather seal, when you jump gaps like this, and especially on the A-pillar, like right there, you don't really want to mess with that because that's where airbags are, and I don't do that. So I'll actually run this wire all the way up through here, run it all the way up through here, and you can easily get right in here and then straight down to the camera, which will be behind this. So if you open up your sunroof, go ahead and just open it all the way for this. It'll really make your life easier. You can really see in here, and this is where I'll be able to tuck it down past the foam, and that'll keep any extra wire safekeeping. That's a great place to store stuff. And then right here, obviously, we have this connector that we're going to tap into. So real quick, actually, let's go ahead and walk through exactly what comes in this Blackvue box here. So I just, Blackvue. So here you do have your big camera. This is going to have your adhesive mount for the window. You're going to have your DC in power. You're going to have your cable for your rear camera. And also under here, you will have your memory card slot. Right now it has the 16 gig Blackvue. I'll just bump it up to the 128 in just a minute. I really recommend just using the Blackvue. I've heard of a lot of friends having issues with other SD card manufacturers. I'm not sure why. So that's why I only use the Blackvue ones. I'm not sure what else would work, what wouldn't work. I just don't even risk it. Then next up, we're gonna have the small one right here. And this is going to be our rear camera, and it has the other end for the video cable. So in this box, we're gonna have quite a few things, a lot of which is gonna be very important. One, we have a power cable, which we're gonna reuse this. You can buy your own, but just reuse it. I don't know why you wouldn't. Also, we're gonna have a cable. Imagine it. It's the one we actually already installed during the rear applique video for the rear camera. It was a good time just to install both wires at once. You have your product warranty information. You have your quick start guide. Probably a good thing to read it if you've never done it before. And then you have this little baggie, fun little pry bar, which I don't think I got on the first camera. You're also gonna have a micro SD to USB right there, and you're gonna have some cable clips. One extra adhesive mount for the rear camera, and one extra for the front camera, should you need them. But if you do it right the first time, you won't. Yeah, also, we're gonna need this cool little heat gun. You're gonna need something to heat up the shrink wrap stuff, so... What's up, David?
Hey, I was cleaning out my car. I found this, like, fruit leather thing. Guess how old it is?
Jesus Christ,
I don't want to You can give away a prize to one of your viewers.
Oh, no, no one's gonna want
Okay,
that.
well, just guess.
Is it like 5 years, 10 years?
10 years old. It's from 2007.
Where the hell did you find that?
It was underneath the passenger seat, underneath the floor mat. So.
By the way, if you haven't heard, David's selling his car, so that video will be up Monday. Sorry about your car, David. Don't eat that. Don't. So now we're going to hook up the power cable. So this is one thing I do, but I've read a lot of other people don't. So this power cable is huge. And I don't want to lose. Just kidding then. So the last one I actually had a little fuse in here, in the wire. But I have no fuse. So there's that. I guess I don't need to worry about that. We can make it short now. David! Do you have the little fuse thingy in your line? Okay, let me go check David's car. So it has this little like fuse in here. My wire doesn't have that, so I don't know. Maybe they built it into the camera, but whatever. So right now we just have his tied into that until we can get it all wired up. But we still have to run his rear dash cam wire, which I already have done. So the idea of speeding things up, we're just gonna finish mine off and then we'll do his at a later date. So since I don't have that fuse, I hope it's like built in here, or maybe it's not needed, I don't know. But I guess on the bright side, now I don't need 20 feet of wire shoved in my roof like I actually did have on my first Tesla. So whoever bought it, you're welcome, because now you have a ton of cord. So maybe we'll do this one like 2 feet. Let me go measure. Oh yeah, that'll be plenty. We're gonna get our trusty little wire stripper, cutter, whatever you want to call them thing. And we're just gonna cut this. And then we're gonna want to get access to those wires, strip those off. I hope you guys can't hear that. David's vacuuming his car because he's selling it. So I got the black part off, and now we have a red and a black. So black should be ground. So now we're gonna get this cable, go in the car, and see what lines up with what. So our wire we want is this one that's taped in here. So here's our wire here. We have a black, we have a green with a red stripe, and a red with a black stripe. So going off what I know about these, the red and green is not gonna be anything. The black is gonna be the ground, and the red with black stripe is our 14 volt. So now we can see exactly which ways it's going to connect, and now figure out how the wires are in there. So our red and black power is on the far left, so that's gonna be our blue. So blue is going to be our power. The next one is yellow. That actually goes to the green and red. We don't want that one at all, so we'll just probably cut that at the edge. And then black, our ground, is red on here, and the black we won't need because there isn't a fourth wire there. So blue is power, red is ground. So we're going to cut this, give it a few inches so we can make sure we have room to do everything. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is just split all these wires apart from each other. Blue is power, so don't cut blue. Yellow is the green and red, which we don't want, so we're gonna cut that. Red is not what you think. It's actually gonna be our ground. And our black, which is technically normally ground, is nothing because we only have 3 wires, not 4 on that. So there we go. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do, strip this. Okay, so here we do have our blue and our red fully stripped. So now we're gonna go ahead and strip our power cable, which will connect into our camera. Okay, so I just realized I have two options to connect these. One, solder, but these wires are pretty damn small, and I don't know I trust my solder skills that much, because I've never actually done it. Anywho, so I guess another option is I could butt splice these together. That's what I actually did on my last Tesla, and I think that's what I'm gonna do on this too, because it was quick, it's easy, I don't have to solder. So we're just gonna kind of spin these a little bit, make sure everything's together, insert the splicer, and I bought the 16 gauge to 22 gauge from Home Depot. I think this was like $3 or something really cheap. I actually use that for the rear applique. We're just gonna insert this into one side and squeeze as hard as we can. So we're gonna do the same thing with this. Just gonna insert that one there and crimp this one. Okay, and then just give them a little tug, gently make sure they are good. And now we have our cable. So we're gonna go and plug this in to the car and then plug it into the camera and see if it powers on. So now we got our wire and our camera. So I'm gonna go ahead and just plug this in, and then we're going to plug it into the camera and see if it boots up. And it got a blue light! So that means I know how to wire. We need to get into the camera so we can see exactly where to place it. So there's the app, Blackvue, link in the description below. Open that, and we're gonna go to Blackvue Wi-Fi. Select your Blackvue password. I don't know what it is. I'm taking a stab at it. Turns out the default password is Blackvue, all lowercase. Got it the first try. Comes up saying for security reasons, please change it. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So right up here's our settings. So we're gonna hit that, and then here you can see you have basic settings, sensitivity settings, other settings, Wi-Fi settings, and cloud settings. So we're actually just gonna go into Wi-Fi settings and login credentials. Here's what it will look like. The password, which is all lowercase Blackvue. So I'm gonna delete that password, put in a new password. Got the password, hit OK. Then it'll take you back to this screen, and you're just gonna hit the back button. And then you wanna do, at the very bottom it says save in close or close without saving. You're gonna wanna save it. So we're gonna do save and close. It's going to make sure it saves your settings, and now the camera is going to restart with those settings. So, oh look, and we've already got some recordings that have shown up from when it was turned on. So now we are going to actually hit this little button right here in the bottom right. That is our live feed. And look, that's me. I'm actually gonna get the front part of my hood. So that's about where I like it. So now that I kind of have my angle good, I'm going to ask David. David, how does it look? He's looking at this camera lens, which actually is not in the middle. So it's gonna be off center a little bit. Oh my God, I hope you guys can see that. So that right there? Now what we're gonna do is peel this, that we already have an idea of where we're putting it. Right now we're just having David verify location. Okay, I just pressed it lightly up there, but I'm also looking, so that's what David looks like through the camera. So we're just pushing it, making sure it's really attached. Front camera is attached, we have power. Obviously we're not gonna leave it like this, so let's see if we can't wire it and push it up through here. Because what I'm gonna do is fish this hose down in here to get right through here, so that I can then insert the wire into this and pull it right through. So we want to put the power cable onto this right here, put it into the little tube, and then use some electrical tape to attach it to the tube so that we can pull it through, and that will also help protect the end of this power cable. So now that we have this, we can just go ahead and pull it through, and there we go. We got that one through, and now we are going to put this back through so that we can fish the wire from the rear camera to connect it to the front camera. Okay, so now that we have that there, I'm going to fish the rest of this video cable from the back. So what I'm gonna do real quick actually is take it and put it through here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You can kind of see that light right here. That is right here. So we're gonna take it and feed it through here to here. And there we go. So we'll go ahead and get our trusty electrical tape. Then we're gonna go ahead and put the end of our wire, that L right there, right in to the tube so that it protects it while we pull it through. I'm going to gently pull on this, which is the other end of the tube. The tube's job is now done. We can go ahead and take off the remaining electrical tape. Okay, so we have our power right here. So we'll go ahead and connect the power. Then we have our video, which we'll go ahead and connect right next to it, right there. So now what we can do is kind of pull back on a little bit of these wires to tighten these up. So what I'm actually gonna do is just kind of run these as close to that box as possible. I'll be able to put some little wire clips right there, and that will hide those pretty darn well, actually. Shove that back up here. Say shove, but you want to be gentle with it still, even if it is just the power. Okay, and then what the video cord, we're actually just going to pull it from right up here outside the car. Then what we can do is go ahead and snap this right back into place. Just make sure that these wires I kind of like to leave in the middle, like where it was attached before, and we're good. So here is our extra video cable from the back. What we're actually just gonna do though is just tuck it right in here. I would not cut this cable at all. It's not that much extra they give you. And also splicing a video cable, it's just not something I would ever risk doing. So just tuck it in here. It fits nicely out of the way. No one will ever see it. So we've got the front all hooked up. We're basically going to do the same thing on the back.
As easy as 1, 2, 3.
I wish. So now that we have that, we'll go ahead and connect this camera. As you can see, I actually do have this camera upside down. So when you look, the way it is right now, if we go into live mode, we're upside down. So what we're gonna do is go into our settings here, into our basic settings, recording settings, rear camera 180 rotation, hit it, then we're gonna go back again, save and close. We're gonna go into live mode. So the front, that's what it looks like, and the rear, ta-da, is flipped, just like it should be. So now what I'll go ahead and do is close the trunk. David will be on the outside, make sure it looks level. I'll make sure it looks good on the camera. We'll stick it, and then that will be it for the Blackvue 650 dual channel install on a 2017 Tesla Model S 100D with Autopilot 2.0. My God, that was a mouthful. Bye.
Maybe just a little right here.
Right there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. So that is how the install on the back looks like. I'll probably do a more comprehensive review of the app at a later date, but a few key things I really want you guys to look for. So here in the settings, a couple things you're going to want to do. I like to adjust my time zone. So we're going to do the America Denver Mountain Time. Please back up all recordings, because when you do this, it will reinitialize your SD card and it will delete anything. So just make sure that you do this when you first get the camera. So we're going to hit OK. Video settings, here is where you can change everything. I just like to keep everything, the front at 30 frames per second and the rear at 30 frames. So full HD in the front and just HD in the back. Image quality, I keep it just on high is good. And the brightness, here's where you can play with the brightness. I like just the default, which is 2, so I'm okay with that. Recording settings, normal recording, voice recording, date and time. So I do all that. The speed, I'm going to turn that off. Normal recording duration, you can have it in 1 minute clips, 2 minute clips, 3 minute clips. And so I just do 3 minute on everything. Auto switch to parking mode, so it senses when it's not in motion, it'll only start recording once it goes back into motion, other than recording all the time, so that's there. Rear camera power, so that it's on, and then so that it's recording, obviously on, and then I rotated my camera 180 degrees because of the way I mounted it. So that is it for basic settings. Sensitivity settings, here's where you can do like your G sensor. So this is when it will record a event while in parking mode. Other settings, recording status LED, security LED, blah, 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 blah. So I turn security LEDs off. I don't want it to draw more attention than it has. The recording status LED, I actually turn that off too. The proximity sensor, I just keep that as normal. And all this other stuff I just use as normal. You can do user text overlay. And then Wi-Fi settings, we kind of already went through that. And cloud settings, I haven't hooked it up to the cloud. I might, that'll be a future video. But that kind of just goes over the basic on the app settings. So just some things to look into. So that is basically it for the full install on a 2017 Tesla Model S 100D with Autopilot 2.0. For the Blackvue 650S 2-channel dash cam install. Again, it's a mouthful. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have been asking me for it. I've been meaning to do it a long time ago. Life kind of happened. Feel free to thumbs up. If you want to save $1,000 off the price of a newer inventory Tesla, feel free to use our link in the description below or on our website, teslainventory.com. You save $1,000 and we'll unlock certain rewards for us, including the possibility of even winning a fully loaded P100DL S or X. So feel free to use the link as much as you want. Go ahead and click here to subscribe, here for some more videos, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.